What's up everybody, Noah from Stage 3 Motorsports here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install a set of these Grimm tubular upper control arms on your F150. The first thing we're going to do is really simple. We're just going to unclip this little pin right here so we can get the line out of the way. That way this isn't bumping against the arm when we try to take it out. Now you're going to need to grab a 21mm and an 18mm wrench, and we're going to break free the nuts and bolts holding these back mounts. You don't want to take them all the way off, we just want to get them loose for now, and then we'll come back to it after we have the stud free. Now use an 18mm deep well socket here to get around the stud so you can loosen up the nut for the ball joint. So you can see I've got this pretty loose now, and the ball joint actually started popping up. It wasn't seized in here too bad, but if it is seized up, you're gonna wanna grab a hammer and just tap the end of the knuckle right here until it breaks free, and you'll see it lift a little, and then once it's free, go ahead and remove the nut the rest of the way. So with our upper arm free and not connected to the knuckle anymore, we can go back and remove these nuts and bolts that are attaching it to the frame mounts. Now, it's worth noting here that because we have an aftermarket coilover, there's a bit more space to get in here and pull these bolts out without having to remove the coilover. If you have a factory coilover or something a little fatter and you can't get back in here to get to these bolts, you may have to undo your 3 top nuts there and lower it down to give you that space. But for the most part, if you're doing these upper arms, you probably have a coilover that'll allow you that kind of room. Now, before you go ahead and throw your new arm in, you will have a little bit of assembly to do. So make sure you grease up your bushings, push them through the back of these mounts with the little sleeves in there. Also, you're gonna wanna thread on your grease fittings, and those holes will be pre-drilled, ready to go. And then, of course, you're gonna wanna put the stud through for your ball joint. So none of this is too hard. You can do it all on the bench, but just make sure you get some grease in there and that everything's set. And once you have it ready, there's a driver and a passenger. They're labeled on the front, so we'll get the new one popped in here, and it's pretty much gonna be the same process as removing the stock one, just in reverse. And one other thing to note real quick, these Uniballs are sometimes kind of frozen up when you get them out of the box if they've been sitting for a bit. So once you have the stud through there, you may need to break it free once it's off the truck, just where you can get some leverage on a bench with a vise or something like that if it is kind of seized and you can't move it. But once you have that done, you should be able to get it angled out to where it's gonna fit in here no problem. For the new Uniball, you're actually gonna use a 21mm deep well to put this on instead of the 18 we use for the factory. The new Uniball is settled into the knuckle, so now we're gonna go back and finish tightening these rear mounts. One of the last things we have to do here is just put this plastic clip in that we popped out and push that through. Now, if you did pick up one of the optional sets of cover caps for this, you're just gonna need to put that 3M adhesive ring on here. And then we also have a little alcohol prep pad, so we can kind of wipe the top edge of this down. And then once you peel off the backing, you can just pop this right into place. All right, guys, this is gonna be a wrap on the Grimm upper control arm install. One last thing you wanna do is just hit this with a torque wrench real quick, torque everything to factory spec, make sure it's locked in there, and then you can put your truck back on the ground and put the wheels back on. If you guys are interested in picking up a set of these arms for your F-150, head down in the description below. We'll have some links there that are gonna shoot you over to our website. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.